to today's broadcast.
Be obedient. All right, so we got some rules of engagement this morning. All right, we had some rules of engagement this morning, and the number one rule of engagement this morning is everybody do like Stella, just fall out over there on the floor. Now, the number one rule of engagement is listen today like you've never listened before. Now, I'm not just saying this stuff. Like, just listen like you never listened before. Number two, take notes to help you stay focused. So take notes to help you. You know, sometimes you can, if you hear something that's convicting or something that's challenging, or maybe something you may agree or disagree with, it's hard to stay focused. So take notes, especially young folk. Get a pen, paper, you find your phone, but I need you taking notes. And this is for the young people. The old people might hit me back. The young, I'll preach right in your aisle on top of that chair right there. So I need y'all to take notes to stay focused. That's number two. Number three, either download, listen, or get the CD for today and listen to this message at least 7 times this week. At least 7 times this week. Make sure that you didn't that you get it all. Because sometimes you can be writing stuff down, or you could be like, man, I need to make that adjustment, or I never saw it that way, or you could be laughing at the Holy Spirit's jokes or something and miss something. But if you keep downloading it, ain't that right, Stella? Well, I can't ask Stella because Stella's kind of laid out over there, but I'll ask her later. All right, so that was what, 4? That was 3? Oh, okay. 4 is search the scriptures to see if it's so this week. So write down the scriptures, but don't just be writing them down this week. Go and research what you're about to hear. Because I know some of what you're about to hear, they'd be like, or it might be a little stretching. So, but I'm going to trust that y'all know your pastor's heart, and you'll be able to just absorb. All right, so we've been talking about damaged thrones, and so we're going to talk about an aspect of damaged thrones today, a little different aspect, and because remember we said a damaged throne is a faulty throne, and a faulty throne is something with a built-in weakness, right? Like, so it's weakness built in, so even though it may look good on the outside and it may even resurrect the high heights, it's inevitable it's about to crash. So it's built in, it's almost like building a collapsible throne, right? So any small movement or interruption, Lewis, it's gone, right? But who builds a business, a ministry, a marriage, a dream collapsible? Where at any moment you look left or right, that thing about to crumble. Like you ain't even sure. That's why sometimes you can get paranoid, because you're like, anytime, man, something can happen. You're almost like you can't even enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't even trust that this thing gonna hold up. Like I hustled this whole thing. I don't know how this thing gonna work out, right? So we said it's a built-in weakness. So today we're gonna talk about being susceptible to the curse. Because you build a throne, and if it's not curse-proof, once again, all my life I wanted to play football. All my life I wanted to have a ministry. All my life, I wanted to write a book or sing a song or, play the trumpet. Just thought I slipped that in there, Ed, Yes, it's all my life, but if I'm susceptible to the curse, there's a built-in weakness. If I don't build whatever I'm doing curse-proof, I've been waiting all my life for this relationship and I finally got it. But if it's not curse-proof, it's going to be temporary, right? Right? Now, keeping it real, show of hands, it's kind of dark, people might not notice. How many people have been building what they're building in their life, and the whole time they're going, I gotta make sure this thing is curse-proof. Show of hands. Hey, this is nice and everything, but is it curse proof? Like how you get a new house and you're looking for leaks to see, is this thing waterproof? Right? Because I don't want, we enjoying everything until a storm, right? Then we sitting under a flood. Yeah, you go build a house in the hurricane area, right? You making sure that thing is hurricane proof, right? Are you building your life curse proof? All right, just work with me here, right? So Deuteronomy 30. We'll start with. Did I mess y'all up with the light thing? Y'all can't see the scriptures. All right, so we got 30:19, right? Is that what I told you to go? Deuteronomy 30:19. It says, I call heaven and earth. Now, realize we operate sometimes just on a realm. Like we choose, and most of the time we choose the earth realm, because we're familiar with that. It's tangible. You don't need a lot of faith, right? But from the beginning, God wanted us to operate in double realms or two realms. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth together. So it's this law first mentioned. First thing came out of his mouth. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. So this is what our frustration is, right? So sin split them, but it never was supposed to be a split. We're supposed to be joining the things on earth as it is in heaven. Matthew 6. Yeah, as the days of heaven on earth. That's really what a fulfilling life is. As we've been talking about on Wednesdays, living in his presence, not visiting. Well, in some cases, not even nowhere on the block. In some cases, nowhere in the city. Not in the state, not in the region, not in the country. But in most cases, we may be in the area, we just can't find God's house. All right, so it was a point there. All right, so it says, verse 19, it says, I call heaven and earth to record. Like I'm not going to let this get by. That's why I told you to take notes and write down notes. Right? Ain't that right, Chris? Okay. Man, don't be getting all frown on your face. He ain't had no frown. I just was picking. He's fine. So I call heaven and earth to record this day against you. Right? It says that I have set. So he's saying, listen, you can record this. I'm so confident what I'm telling you right now. And I'm willing to be held accountable for what I'm telling you right now. This is God saying this. So you can record it, right? Hey, look, hey, you can have somebody video, audio, or write it down, right? And you can hold me accountable to this because God's not like us. He's willing to be accountable, right? He says, record this day that I have set before you, life and death. So he set before life and death, blessing and cursing. Then he said, therefore, choose life that both thou and thy seed may live. So as we was talking about a master life earlier, it's not about just us. So for me and my seed to really live a life, I have to choose life. Life is attached to the blessing. But there was another option. If I don't choose life, I'm choosing death or the result of the cursing. Right? So, no, you notice he didn't say you had to choose death or the cursing. It's if you don't choose life or the blessing. Okay, all right, so you don't have to choose gravity. Nobody in this room has to choose gravity. You sit in those chairs because of gravity. If gravity doesn't have a hold on you, we're all floating around the room right now. What's keeping us, you think you set yourself down, or you think, I need to work out, because I keep sitting in this chair and my weight is weighing me down. No, gravity is keeping you down. You could be 400 pounds, no gravity, you're going to float around this room. But you have to choose to fly, to leap, to jump. Y'all just heard some of y'all can barely get off the ground running around here, right? But you got to choose to do that, right? Against what? Gravity. All right, so same thing. You don't have to choose cursing. It's a result of Satan being cast down into this world. You have to choose to stay above it. So if you decide to chill this week, you ain't going to do no spiritual stuff. What are you subject to? Sin. The curse. So when you go, I'm just going to chill today. Well, I don't know how the curse is going to affect me, but we're going to find out. But we normally don't say that, do we? We just go, man, I'm just taking a little chill, just chill, ain't no big deal. What's the big deal? But when you had a little nagging injury, when you wanted to play in the big game, or when you wanted the opportunity, or you needed favor to get the job or the promotion, but it just didn't come through. Or sales week was tough this week. Yeah. Could it be a result of the cursing? Right? Did you prepare this week to make sure sales were curse proof? Okay, all right, just keep that in mind. Just work with me, because we're talking about damaged thrones, built-in weakness. Right? And so what God's trying to get to us today, we won't be dealing with no crazy if we get it today. So let's be all in. Every age here. Because I'm telling you, if the young people get this, they're going to blow us away. If they get it, because they don't have as much cursing to purge out of their system. Right? As much as some of the older folk. Right? I know there's some older folk, but anyway, let me stop picking with them. All right. So we said so I gave you Deuteronomy 13. So blessing and cursing. So blessing is by faith. It takes faith to exact the blessing. What enhances, stimulates, triggers the cursing is fear. Fear does it. See, anytime I'm in fear, just the attitude or the thought or the uneasiness is saying I don't trust God. Because what am I afraid of? If God's with me, what can be against me? Romans 8, right? Come on, just stay, work with me today. And y'all got permission to make sure I stay calm, because I might just get emotional here, lose my voice. So, all right, so you can check me. I'll just calm down. When we talk, sometimes I raise my voice. My wife's like, babe, you loud. So I was like, okay, just let me know, and I'll take it down. So you let me know, I'll take it down, all right? But, so, what I'm saying is, if God's with you, who can be against you? I will not fear what man can do unto me. Psalm 55, right? I won't fear. So now, as I'm making decisions, Lewis, I can exact the blessing because I'm not afraid. But if I'm afraid, the accuser of the brethren is going, oh, no, I got all access. Remember, Jesus said the Son of Man is coming, but he ain't got nothing in me. He ain't got nothing to draw from. Like I was saying, this is the X-Men movie, Magneto. He's sniffing for metal. Dude walked into his glass cubicle that he was locked up in. And he said, I smell something. Whoa. He said, look like you had too much iron in your diet today. He was able to draw that metal out to escape. Well, the devil's trapped into our blessing world, in a cubicle of surrounded by blessing. And he's trying to sniff. He hoping somebody walk around him in fear. And if he smells that fear, he could take that little bit of fear and use it to escape him being bound. Whatsoever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Whatsoever you loose on earth shall be loose in heaven. You see what I'm saying? He's like, wait, hold on, bro. Is that fear? Oh, yes, I'm free. The only thing that can release them is fear. Okay? So work with me here. Work with me here. As I gave you Deuteronomy 8:2. So you can write down 1 Peter 5:8 because you're going to study this case and prove it for yourself. You ain't going to take Pastor Keith's word for it. Search the scriptures to see if it's so, right? You know, I just take his word for it. He's a preacher. No. Anybody ask you a question, be like, no, I got proof. So 1 Peter 5:8, it says he's seeking whom he may devour. Right? He showed up with the other sons of God, the angels. He just was the fallen one. As this is Book of Job, chapter 1. Book of Job, chapter 1. Go research it yourself. And the guy said, what you doing? Well, I'm just traveling up and down the world, seeing who I can devour, take out. Who's giving me access? Sniffing for fear so I can attach the curse. So I'm not alone when I burn. Is that lust? Is that somebody that was afraid that God wouldn't fulfill them with love and settle for lust? Uh-oh. Well, I think I got something here. I got one of his people. Is that bitterness? Resentment? Because you're afraid that the disappointment is insurmountable? I got one of his people. Is that pride? You're afraid that God won't promote you and give you a rep, so you're going to take this moment of nothing and make it into something called I'm right, I know, at the expense of what? All right? All that stuff is rooted in fear. You told me the truth, I'm afraid to receive it, so I put on pride. Because I don't want to look bad. So you may discover I don't know. I've been acting like I was known ever since they told me you're the man of the house. I was never the man. I was just the only male, the oldest male. So I've been acting ever since, acting like the man. But I'm not the man. I'm the male that's growing up to be a man. But I'm figuring, since I'm the oldest male, I'm supposed to be the man. I'm acting. I've been acting ever since. And every time you hit me with the truth and I find out what I don't know, I'm afraid that I won't be valued anymore. And average says, what? Is that fear? Wait, I can't give up the lust because I'm afraid there's no other possible pleasure for me. What? I got another one. So let's seeking. See, can't just take you out. You have to give him something. See what they did this morning. If you embrace it, everybody in the building was running around this place, and the song was freedom, because we've been bound by fear. That's the only reason you don't run. Something in you is like, I don't know how it's going to look, who cares? Every time you abandon yourself, you operate in liberty, you shackles start to fall off you. Pastor Mel showed the videos Wednesday. The video of the little girl, she was, I was tripping on it because, I do a lot of jump boxes. So she's doing the jump box. She's jumping on the thing, but the first time she jumped, she broke. She fell. Boom. She tried again. Fell. Boom. Did it again. I mean, we ain't talking about regular falls. We talking about like, man, I almost like broke my knee. I ain't doing that no more. Because a lot of kids get, I have a nephew just get frustrated because he couldn't open a Matchbox car. He'd take the car and throw it. It's like, dude, it wasn't over. Like, there's other options. You know what I'm saying? So she kept jumping. Boom. And she's falling. But she jumped one time and her toes got to the level she wanted to. And she fell. I said, my toes got there. Did a little regroup, got refocused, and jumped. But what's the thing called? Don't quit. Don't give up. Don't give up. See, why was she able to just deal with messing up? No fear. She wasn't worried about how she looked. Like we do. We worry about how we looked. We hiding stuff that can get help. We can get help for because we're worried about how we look. But we're not what? When we talked about Master Life, we ain't disciples. Disciples don't get offended. They're not in fear. They're not worried about how they look. They're not embarrassed. They know disciples are always looking for what they don't know, not trying to prove what they do. Some of us act like disciples, but we still stuck in the same place we've been stuck in for the last 15 years because we haven't crossed over to be disciples yet. And when someone tells you, hey, you could stop doing that. Well, I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm afraid I won't be able to change. So now what I got to do is get you off of me. I got to get you off. So either I'm going to get nasty, I'm going to get offended, I'm going to be bitter, or I'm going to look for a chink in your armor. Well, I don't like the way Minister Lamar talked to me today. He ain't talked to you no way different before. But your mind has to come up with a reason to be offended with him so you don't have to receive from him. That's fear. And all you're saying is, not that I made myself curse-proof, I made myself susceptible to the curse. Because the Bible says even if somebody is coming at you crazy, it says you're supposed to take it patiently. He says that's thanks worthy towards God. What is that, 1 Peter 2 or 2 Peter 2, 19 and 20, or 19 to 21? So it's one of the Peter 2s. I know that for a fact. And I know it's 19 to 21. He says, if you're wrong and you take it patiently, you should. You're wrong. But let's say you're right. And the person's forward or they got a funky attitude. That don't give you a pass for not receiving from a person. But you've given yourself a pass. The reason why God says, I don't care how they came at you, take it because you'll make yourself curse-proof. Okay? All right, so just keep that in mind. So I gave you first. Now, John 10:10. Let's go to John 10:10. Today is the key to getting the life that God has for you. Okay? All right, so yeah, that's what we come to church for, right, Lucas? Right? Ain't that why you're here? I mean, don't you want what God has for you? So why are we showing up? Just to say we came to church? Man, y'all show up just to come to church. I'm trying to get some. All right, so John 10:10. And even if you've read the scripture before, come on, read with me today. Flow with me today. See it through different lenses, okay? So John 10:10. It says, the thief cometh. Now, who's the thief? Same person's trying to devour you, right? So who's trying to devour you? Who's trying to steal from you? Okay, good. So the thief cometh not, but otherwise interpreted as the only reason he comes, he only has one intent, but to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Like that's his default. Like, let's say if he shows up and you go, hey, he's acting pretty nice today. He's he was tripping last week, but hey, you can give him benefit of the doubt. You can get a benefit of the doubt all you want. He don't know anything else. Steal, kill, and destroy. He may do it subtly, clandestine. He may do it. He may punk you. Man, give me that. A lot of the guys I was with in Richmond, it was from Jersey, so they was just talking about all the stories of people getting punched in the face and beat up. Like, it's just funny. But they was talking about one guy was a bully. He was there. He said, hey, man, he used to be a bully. just walking to these punk people. The guy was playing ball. He was like, Pastor Duncan is a phenomenal basketball player. So he was playing ball, and he would like lose the game. The guy would lose the game, the bully. He's like, let's play again. He lose, let's play again. 10 games, let's play again. So after a while, he's like, man, yo, Donald, man, I'm tired, man. He's like, no, we playing again. He's like, man, I want to go home. You ain't going home. You ain't going home till I win. The devil be trying to do that. No. You ain't leaving this lust till I win. Man, I'm tired of this lust. I'm tired of depression, man. I'm tired of alienating people in my life because I'm insecure and paranoid, selfish and prideful. I'm tired of that. You ain't going nowhere till I'm done. Till I win. Trying to punk you, man. You can't have that. We can't have that. You better not get up out that chair and go to the altar. We can work this out at the crib. We be doing like the relationships. You know, relationships, it's just me and you. Why we gotta talk to anybody? Come on, Lewis, we know that. Nor, that's otherwise interpreted as I don't want to be exposed to accountability because you might find out that I've been wheeling and dealing on you. Devil do the same thing. Like, man, we ain't got to go to church, man. Why we got to talk to somebody? All that word is outdated, man. You don't need to do all that, man. We could just work this out at the house. Turn on the TV. There's plenty of evangelists on the TV. Listen, church in your heart. You ain't got to go to the building. Otherwise interpreted, I don't want you exposed to no type of accountability or nothing because you're going to recognize I've been playing your behind. And I don't need no exposure. I don't need no see, the people that trying to hustle you, they ain't doing what God said in Deuteronomy. He said, write it down, record it, do whatever you want to do. Hold me to what I just said. If you choose life, you get the blessing. You can call me on it. How many people in our life doing that? They don't want nobody to know what they're saying. No, we ain't got to talk to nobody. No, it's cool. Thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, right? That's where I was at. I know where I'm going here. It says, I am come. This is Jesus, red letters. That they might have what? Life. Remember, he told us to choose life. So Jesus came so we might have the life that we should have been choosing. You would think you were what? Attach yourself to Jesus, right? So Jesus is attached to the blessing then, right? The adversary is attached to what? Cursing. All right, good. It says that, look, but Jesus is so sweet. He says, I had come that they might have life and that they may have, did that say it more abundantly? So not just existing, not just having life, which is important, but an abundant life, more than enough. Exceedingly abundantly above all you can ask or think. Your cup running over. Yeah, that's what I showed up for. I didn't show up for just enough, barely enough, never enough. I showed up for more than enough. Okay? All right. So keep that in mind. Now let's go to your favorite scripture in the Bible. Malachi 3. All right, so verse 8. It says, will a man rob God? It says, yet you have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? The answer is in tithes and offerings, right? Look. Next verse. You are cursed with a curse. After the semicolon, it says, it explains what curse you have. It says, for you have robbed me, even this whole nation or this whole people, right? It says, then he says, verse 10, it says, bring ye all, not some, all the tithe, that's a tenth, into the storehouse, that there may be meat in my house, right? And prove me, test me. Now he's holding himself accountable again. Herewith, saith the Lord, if I will not open the windows of heaven, look, and pour out what? And pour out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive. It's like John 10:10. He just gave you the system to facilitate it, right? Right there, right? Y'all see that? Because he said if you're robbing me, boxing me out from the opportunity to bless you. So man, you have to choose the blessing. You don't have to choose the curse. So he said, you're cursed with the curse because you haven't chose the blessing. And you haven't chose the blessing by robbing me in tithe and offering. All right? Right? You see that? Now, okay, so let's keep reading there. So, because I always quote this stuff, but it's good to read it for ourselves. Times is blessed with a blessing. It says, I'll pour out a blessing that there shall not be room enough to receive. Look at verse 11. And I will rebuke what? No, read it. I want you to read it. Because sometimes even I may just run through it and it can sound like he's rebuking, what do you call it? So would it be a noun, pronoun, or adjective? But the devourer, like that, something happening. I'm going to rebuke the devourer for your sake, like something happening. But that's not what he's saying. This is personal here. That would be a noun, right? Yeah, this is a noun, right? Mm-hmm. Look, he says, so he's talking about a person. He says, I will rebuke the devourer for your sake. So who's the devourer? Who? So he shall rebuke the devourer for your sake, and he shall not destroy what? The fruits of your ground, what you produce from your core. We shall be like trees planted by rivers of water, bring forth fruit in our season, Psalm 1. Right? Now, this is the Bible. This is not Pastor Keith, right? He says, I'll rebuke the devourer for your sakes. And all nations shall call you what? Blessed. For you shall be a delightful land, saith the Lord of hosts. So now, it's so interesting here how all this ties in. So now let's go back with this choice. We got choose blessing or cursing. So let's just say this, for the sake of conversation today, is my 10th. Okay? This is my 10th. This is neutral right now. It's just neutral. Okay? It's just my 10th. It's neutral. Right? All it is a 10th. Or it's my seed. Right? Because he ministers seed to the sower to minister both bread for your food and multiply your seed sown. So out of my apple, I had a seed. Like all apples have what? Seeds. So 90% of the apple is for who? And you enjoy it, right? God is just saying don't eat the seeds. Because God's system is I'm giving you the fruit, but in the fruit is the ability to replenish, be fruitful and multiply. Like it says, be fruitful, multiply, replenish. And that was back in Genesis. That was our instructions, right? Part of our purpose, right? Fruitful, multiply, replenish. So Lewis, if he gives me fruit, I'm not done, am I? Look, he's giving me fruit for me to be strengthened, for me to have nourishment, in some cases to enjoy, but it triggers purpose. It triggers my choice, my blessing or cursing by what I do with the seed. If I do nothing with the seed, I'm subject to what? The curse. A seed has no value unless it's sown. So even if I have a bunch of apple seeds at the crib, piling up, a storehouse, as the scripture says, the guy built a barn, I'm going to store all my stuff. Then a storm or something came, he's like, man, I just lost all this seed, when he could have had a harvest going, right? So hey, the seed is neutral. So I just want you to say it's neutral, right? So who we trust with our 10th decides if the devourer can or cannot curse the fruits of our ground. See, if we trust God with our tithe, with our 10th, with our seed, then we're saying, I'm trusting you with my fruit. But if we get fearful with the seed, because fearful is, man, I know this is a seed, but ain't no, God may not bless me. Fear, right? So, I'm going to just utilize the seed right now. But how do you feel after you've consumed the seed? Who said sick? You said sick. Actually, who said filthy? Gee whiz. Okay. At the extreme, you're going to feel filthy, I guess. But sick is actually ties into what we said about the apple. Eat your seeds. That's what they make cyanide out of. Actually, you want to go home, you're not going to die. But if you go, well, don't do it because something happened to you. Like, Pastor said, eat the seeds. Yeah. I mean, what happened? They had a reaction, but they make cyanide out of that stuff, man. Like, so you're going to be sick. And, ask your nutritionist. Ask the nutrition. You're going to be sick, at least sick. Okay, we go with sick. We won't have to go with filthy right now. We'll hit filthy in a few minutes. All right? Right? Convicted, right? He even said convicted. Man, I could have used that seed to replenish, to multiply, to be fruitful, to go out ahead of me. Right? But all I did was halfway didn't even enjoy the moment. Okay, so still neutral, all right? So who you trust was the 10th, right? So either I'm going to trust the devourer, who's basically going to curse everything, or that seed is either initiator of covenant with God or covetous with the devil. So if I use it for what it's designed for, I'm covenanting with God. I'm in covenant. Now I'm gonna talk about what's attached to that. But if I don't use it, if I don't choose to assist that seed in living by making sure it dies in this moment, because you got to bury it. Right? Then I can end up being in covetous with the devourer, who only knows how to do what? Steal, kill, and destroy. Ain't personal. Right? Well, it is personal on his behalf. So we choose blessing or cursing by who we trust with our 10th. Do you trust you or God? Do you trust the devourer? Because if you trust in you, you trust in the devourer. Self or God. So the blessing and curse is based on what we trust with our 10th. 10th. Now, don't be trying to change it. Don't try to rearrange it. Don't try to flip it. 10th is 10th. Right? Again, you could tell your mind something else. Again, this ain't no rebuke or nothing like that. I'm just trying to give you the message God told me to give you. Right? There's not changing our trust in God or nothing. Nothing catastrophic's happened. I was just driving to Richmond, meditating on the word, and the Lord said, man, I need you to stop. I need you to stop and see this, man. You keep looking over this, but I need you to stop and see it. And then you keep kind of dancing around because you don't want people to be uncomfortable. But I tell you what triggered it. I'm seeing people getting devoured. All around us. And the Lord said, it ain't just their fault. You ain't being responsible. I told you to speak the truth in love. Like, you're benefiting from something. You better make sure you pass it on and make sure you create an atmosphere where they're now accountable by themselves. They're accountable right now, but so are you. So look, I'm about to let me off the hook today. It's all going to be all on you after the day. You're accountable for what you know. Ain't that right, Lewis? Why he keep going over there with Lewis? Because the Lord is trying to do something that I'm going to tell him about later. So just roll with the pastor. Everything's intentional. That's why the Bailey's sitting up here. Just roll. So poured blessings we figured out comes from God, right? I'll pour out a blessing you have room enough to receive. The devourer we figured out was the devil. The Malachi 10 is actually an exchange. There's an exchange taking place. Like God is trying to do something when he says, bring your tithe. Now, see, again, we're in a culture where the return for our production is money, right? We go to work, we get money. Now, it was a time when what you would get for your production may be herbs, spices, rue, cabbage, whatever. I mean, that's what you got. So when you go back into the Bible, and because this is how we justify not tithing. We go, well, in the Bible, substance, because and even in the New Testament, when he was talking to the leaders, and they was like, you guys tithe rue and all types of spices and stuff like that. He said, now this is the New Testament. The tithe ain't the New Testament. Or the Message said, you tithe all your stuff, but you disregard people. He said, you should have been tithing and you should be regarding people. He never said, well, you don't have to tithe. That's the Old Testament. You got to read it for yourself. I have the scripture here. It's Luke 11:45, I believe. All right. So, but my point here is we try to translate that into, well, let's see, what is it? For Christmas, somebody gave you a bunch of towels and you already had towels. So you come to the church and you bring towels. Because you go, yeah, that's my tithe. Income. Right? So, or no, there's a better example. You get income at work, you go out and buy, with your income, you buy biscuits. I'll just use biscuits. And you just bring that to the church. So I did the church a favor. I gave biscuits and wings. Fine, that was nice for the church. But guess what? You was a blessing. But that wasn't tithing. Because that wasn't your income. You converted it. You just don't realize it. I'm going to show you. Stay with me. I'm going to show you. It went through a conversion. Just not the one that produces the blessing. All right? All right, so with that in mind, we said Malachi 10 is an exchange of our seed or our money. So because it's unrighteous, we're pulling in unrighteous stuff. It's unrighteous. It's produced by man. That's what unrighteous means. It was produced by man. So what we're doing is when we give a seed, we're putting it under the devourer protection plan. That's, unrighteous. Okay, so let's use us. If we're outside of the presence of God, we could be devoured. Easy by the adversary. We're in the presence of God, can't touch this. Doom, 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 doom. Right? So it's the same principle. So our treasures, our life, our gifts, right? Our talents, our time, if we keep it in the presence of God, it's not just going to get destroyed. If we're outside of the presence of God, it all can be devoured, right? Like you don't want to be in the presence of God and your seed outside. Okay, all right, just stay with me. Just be patient. All right, so it becomes, like the stuff becomes righteous because, see, produced by man is, labor and wages, right? That's man's way of getting any level of resource. So we're taking what we get from labor and wages, we're sowing it into God's system. Now it's converted into seed time and harvest. Genesis 8:22, right? So we've taken labor and wages, what we got from labor and wages. Look, most of it is for us. God has given you richly all things to enjoy. And we're taking a portion of it, the seed portion of it, to convert it into seed time and harvest. So that means I'm going to get more on that seed than the world tried to give me when they gave it to me. Right? Because now it's now under the blessing. Pour out a blessing, you'll have room enough to receive. Exceedingly abundantly above all you can ask or think. That's God's system, right? All right, so again, I haven't given you the whole case. I'm just trying to build a case. So we said choose the blessing. So your wealth, your health, and your life depends on a strong foundation of a covenant with God, not covetous with the devil or yourself. So look. Listen, your wealth, your health, and your life depends on a strong foundation. As we were talking about earlier, a strong foundation. What makes the foundation strong is your covenant with God. Not covetous or selfishness or greed or hustle or worry in a life with, yourself or the devil, right? That's not a covenant. That's not a commitment. That's not a commitment. Like I'm in a covenant with my wife. My whole life is what's going to benefit her. Her whole life is what's going to benefit me. I start to put cracks in the covenant if I start to feed myself. Because I'm a tree, bring forth fruit in my season, right? What I produce is for her to partake of. It's for you to partake of. It's not for me to eat my own fruit, right? Now I start to put in cracks because now I'm not in covenant now, right? Covenant is what? It's fruitful, multiply, replenish. So it's all about giving out, not taking, right? The tree can't even benefit from what it produces to continue to grow. A tree can't grow from eating oranges, an orange tree. It needs what? Water, other resources, right? So it's pulling from one resource, but it's pouring out another resource. If it starts to eat what it's pouring out, what did you say, Tanya? That's nasty. It's beyond sick. What did you say it was? Filthy. That's filthy, man. That's nasty. Right? So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right. So what God is saying, I need you to take your seed and make sure you give it to the exchangers. Just write it down. Everything I'm gonna tell you is gonna be chapter and verse. This is not my. Man, that's deep. No, I ain't come up with that, and I'll show you why. So we must convert uncertain. Remember this. Don't trust in 1 Timothy 6. Uncertain riches. So they are riches. They're uncertain because there's no guarantee that they're going to produce the fulfillment that you desire or the blessing that you want in your life. Right? So another word for uncertain riches is called unrighteous mammon or unrighteous money. It's money, righteousness. It's right standing or right in harmony with God's intended purpose, which is a life more abundantly, exceedingly abundantly above all you can ask or think, a blessing you can't have room enough to receive, right? Unrighteous is cursed resources. Cursed from the standpoint, if it's not doing exceedingly abundantly above, it can't meet your needs. So you even though the more you get, the more thirsty you are. Yeah, that's what I used to call drugs when I used to do drugs. I called it more. Because the more you did, the more you wanted. Like it was insatiable. You can't be satisfied. Long as it's uncertain and unrighteous, you'll never be satisfied. But it'll give you the thought that you can be. So it's like dangling a carrot from you. Just come on, just keep coming, right? But you're never really getting to a point where you're quenched, okay? So God's saying if you want to shift that uncertain riches or unrighteous mammon over to true riches, there has to be an exchange made, right? Has to be an exchange made. Just see, because when it crosses over to true riches create an attraction for something. All spiritual blessings in heavenly places. Going back to what I said in the beginning, God's original plan was for us to enjoy the things on earth as it is in heaven. Scripture says in Ephesians 1:3, you have all spiritual blessings in heavenly places. What triggers the windows of heaven open? We just went through it in Malachi 3, tithe. Prove me that I won't open up the windows of heaven with all the spiritual blessings in heavenly places and pour you out a blessing you won't have room enough to receive. So he's saying my trigger is that, again, is the tithe, the tenth, the seed, the offering. He said, that's my trigger. to change unrighteous mammon, to change uncertain riches, because it's a seed. It's intended to be sown, to be resurrected into a harvest, not to be consumed and make you sick. To keep you in want. He says, so I need you to do what I designed you to do with it. Right? Your life. Present your body as a living sacrifice only acceptable to God, which is a reasonable service, the least you could do. If you get selfish, your life you're supposed to bury your life. If you don't bury your life, God can't bless your life. Jesus did it, didn't he? In Matthew 3:17. Jesus took his life. He said, John was like, oh, you kidding me? You need to baptize me. He said, no. I have to be buried. That's why you got to, they that be planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the courts. I said, you got to plant yourself somewhere. So, because once you're planted, that blessing is on you, and you flourish in the courts and everything else you do. The system has not changed. We just try to dance around it. Your gifts, you got to give them to the kingdom first. God blesses your gifts. Look, ministers bread for your food. It makes sure the gift is blessed. Multiply your seed sown. So not only are you get the blessing in the house, but now you flourish out there. But it starts with giving your gifts to the kingdom first. You got to bury it. It's just your tithe. It's just giving yourself first. But you can't decide what layer you want to do. Like every level, we have to sow ourselves at every level to receive the abundant life. Because that's what we're talking about, right? All right, so just again, let it stretch you, because people get devoured, man. See, the covenant rebukes the devourer, which would be Satan, right? So the scripture says, and so he's a part of the curse, right? Galatians 3:13, it says, Christ has redeemed us from what? The curse of the law. Being made what? A curse for us. For it is written, curses everyone that hangeth on the tree. Now, why did he do it? Verse 14. That the blessing of Abraham might come upon the Gentiles through Jesus Christ, that we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. So he was trying to, okay, Genesis 12, real quick. Verse 1 through 3, if you're taking notes, you can go study it yourself. It says, now the Lord said unto Abram, get thee out of the country, from thy kindred, from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. He says, I will make thee a great nation, or a great people. Look, I will bless thee, make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, curse them that curses thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. So Abraham departed, and the Lord has spoken, right? If you read it out, Abraham was blessed, rich in everything. You read Genesis 13, Genesis 14 to Genesis 15. But the interesting thing is, if you study it out, Abraham gave all his tithes to Melchizedek. Like he had all this stuff, but he tithed to Melchizedek. I got to tithe. Like I got to make sure I exchange all that I have so I can continue to be a blessing. He's phenomenal. He was phenomenally blessed. The scripture says that the blessing of Abraham may come on us. Read through Genesis 12, 13, 14, 15. Abraham, kids, just see him, they just blessed. The socks was blessed off him. So the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He's trying to, the curse of the law is poverty, sickness, and death. So some stuff we're going to God in prayer for, God said, get in covenant with me. You're not in covenant with me. You don't trust me with, right, with the tithes and offering. You don't trust me. And so, yeah, you have a good 2-week run, 1-week run, this, that, and the other, but you, listen, I'm not all about this little highs and lows roller coaster ride you're on. I just need you in abundance. So all the people looking at you say, this is the seed that the Lord has blessed. Psalm 126. Because they went forth giving precious seed. It cost them something. So God poured a blessing on them. See, it's a principle that we've been not allowing ourselves to benefit from. So that's why, yes, it costs something to sow precious seed. The scripture says, where your treasure is, your heart will be. God's saying, can I get your heart? There's very few people in 2018 that their heart is not attached to their money. That's why we work so hard. That's why we excuse spending time with God. We got to do all these hours. We got to start this business. We got to build this, that, and the other. So God's saying, let me see where your heart really is. Is your heart with me? Do you trust me, or are you in fear that you got to keep hustling? Hustling actually facilitates, it creates atmosphere for fear.
Thanks for tuning in to today's broadcast. To view videos or make donations, feel free to access our website at www.heirscc.org. Remember, at Heirs, we believe we're just what you prayed for.